Okay. Well, I will go ahead and welcome everybody and call our meeting to order. It looks like I've got 6:01 p.m. So first of all, I would like to thank everybody for joining us tonight. It looks like we've got a few people on. So thank you for joining us. So the purpose of this meeting is to approve the 2025 budget and assessments for the Daybreak Community Association for both the Master Association as well as the benefited service areas. This is a pretty good and thorough process that we go through every year, where we have a resident-driven budget and finance committee that reviews the entire budget for the year, spends time with the management company and a board liaison asking all kinds of questions. They gave a lot of really good input this year on that budget. So I want to thank, I'm not sure if there are any members of the Budget and Finance Committee who've joined us, but if there are, I want to thank them for their service. They spend a lot of time and put in a lot of volunteer hours of their own time to, really help us get this right. And they really help us provide a resident perspective. So we're really grateful for that. One thing I'd like to do before we get too much further is just introduce our board members that we have on the call. My name is Cameron Jackson. I'm a developer appointed member of the board and serving currently as the board president. And so what I'd like to do, maybe since this is Zoom, I'll just call out board members and just ask you to introduce yourselves. And I'm just going to go sort of left to right on my screen here. So Zakia, would you go first?
Of course, I'm Zakia Richardson, resident voting board member for the HOA, current resident boarding member. And with the election, I'm the one who voted not to continue. And so with the election, someone else will take my place. Yay, sorry. So Ron, I'll send it over to you.
Oh, you're muted, Ron.
Yep. Hear me now?
There we go.
Yeah, hello, everybody. I'm Ron Tucker, resident non-voting board member. I live over in Springhouse Village, the 55-plus community on the west side, and been here just going on 6 years.
Great. Aida.
Yes, Aida Neymalia, developer appointed, voting member.
Great. Jenny Beth.
Jenny Beth, non-voting resident member, been in Daybreak for just over 2 years now.
Great. Thank you. Okay. So I went a little bit out of order there, but that's okay. So we'll continue. And Cindy, if I miss anything, please feel free to jump in and let me know. But in addition to, so in terms of our process, so the board of directors and the management company every year goes through a pretty rigorous process looking at prior year expenses, looking at what the new amenities are that are going to be added to Daybreak for the coming year, and then develop that budget. They'll look at past costs and estimates of new costs to come up with that budget. And so, as I mentioned before, the first piece of the process after the draft budget is created is there's that resident group, the Budget and Finance Committee, that reviews the draft budget, asks a lot of questions, and we actually made some changes to it from their feedback. And then the next step that has already occurred, what is a budget town hall. So all residents are invited to that to review that draft budget, ask any questions of the management company that they would like. So there's a pretty good process with transparency and input from residents that leads up to tonight, where we'll kind of do a final review of the budget and approve that. In addition to the master budget for the HOA, we have benefited service areas within Daybreak. So what those are usually townhome groups or groups of small homes that have additional services beyond the master that they get. So in the case of townhomes, it's landscaping and building maintenance and so forth. So The management company held meetings for each of those service area committees to review each line item in their budget and brought any suggestions they may have had to the board of directors. At the town hall, both the Master Association and the benefited service area budgets were reviewed. The recording of that meeting and the slide presentation and the Master Association handout are posted on the website if anybody would like to review that. How am I doing so far, Cindy? Anything I missed? All right. A few highlights from the budget. The insurance premiums were an element that went up quite a bit. We had some increases there. The other one is our reserve fund, which the board has spent a lot of time over the last few days really, kind of wrestling with that and looking over that. So the reserve fund obviously are funds that the association puts in savings for future repairs on benefited service areas as well as within the master. And so there are some increases there that are also driving some of the increases to the fees this year. And then another highlight is, as you've probably seen on your personal power bills, the rates for Rocky Mountain Power have gone up. And so wherever the association is using power on behalf of the community, our rates are going up there across Daybreak. A significant portion of the meeting centered around the impact of the 2024 reserve study, as I mentioned, and those updates that took place as the impact of the changes in cost for materials, services, and labor really impacted pretty much all of our entities within the association. And so one of the things that we do with our reserve studies, so we use a third-party consultant that helps us put together a study for the Master Association and all of its assets, as well as each benefited service area and all of its assets. And historically, if you're an accountant, you may understand this a little bit better. But we've historically used a percent funded balance approach. So what we've tried to do is say, we want these reserve accounts to be at a certain percentage funded so that in the event that there's a large amount of repairs or something that hits all at once, that there's money in those accounts to make those repairs. More recently, we've used a different company to do those that uses a cash flow approach. And so it just looks at, here are all the repairs that are going to be made on this group of buildings. And here's the time horizon for which those repairs will need to take place. And then it outlines a schedule for how fees will be collected and then deposited into the reserve account so that, again, when those repairs need to happen, there's money in the account to do it. And so one of the other areas where we've had some significant increases is there because, as you probably know, the cost of construction has dramatically increased over the last several years. And so those costs are based on the replacement costs for various components on buildings, roofs, siding, painting, whatever that may be. And so we did see some significant increases there. Let's see. So each BSA will receive a letter, an annual notification letter that will be provided, and it will provide the breakdown of what all of those costs are and they'll be provided with the breakdown of their individual reserve fund balance and current funding plan. That will include estimated increases that will be needed in their annual reserve contributions for the next few years. These future reserve contribution increases are estimates and will be determined each year by the board of directors. So we'll go back every single year and look at those and to essentially right size them for whatever construction costs happen to be doing at that time and how things are generally deteriorating and needing additional cost added. So from the board, is there anything I missed or any other questions, or Cindy, anything else that I missed from our summary before?
Yeah, not that you missed, but just what they're seeing on the screen is the agenda from that was posted and includes the benefited service area original assessment increases, which were quite significant. And so one of the things that we wanted to share with the benefited service area residents is not just from their service area committee members, but as well as the board. What we did was look at and then looked at more of the cash flow method to see if there was any way to spread those increases over more years and keep them still funded. And so Josh switches to the next slide. They'll be able to see where it started and then what that conversation led to is all. So, oh, thank you, Josh. And then so that's where, if you want to pick that up, it's where we started on the percent funded method and then what's now changed from what was discussed at the town hall and what was on the agenda and how it lessened that increase.
Yeah. As we thank Cindy for the reminder, as we looked at this, we were a bit concerned that some of the increases were a little bit too hefty. And so we really wanted to kind of scrutinize it and make sure that we were doing, the right thing for each benefited service area, because, it is a challenge. We all understand that, costs of everything have gone up. And so in our kind of our fiduciary duty board, it's important for us to sort of balance, keeping dues low, but also ensuring that your reserve accounts are adequately funded so that, if and when repairs need to be made, there's adequate funds in the budget to do that. And a challenge often with, townhomes and condos is sometimes those units or those homes tend to turn over a little bit more often than single family homes do. And so part of the consideration here is not just, what's needed today to repair buildings, but what might be needed in the future and what might be needed in the future when there are other people that own those units. And so those are important considerations that we look at as well. So with that said, I will now entertain a motion from the board of directors to approve the proposed 2025 budget for the community association as presented at the town hall, which includes a $5.50 per month per unit increase, which will be billed quarterly. Do I have a motion on that?
I'll motion on that.
And I'll second.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Okay. So, and then after the change, as we talked about with the benefited service areas, what I'll do is I'll go through each of those, that list. If Josh, if you want to throw that back up there. So Heights Park. So basically what you're looking at on the screen here is what you see on the far left is the 2024, the current year monthly assessment. The second column is had we used the percent funded method, what that monthly increase would be. And then the blue column is the proposed assessment using the cash flow method. And then that last column is what the increase would be. And so I'll go through those individually. So Heights Park Sego would go to $160. That's a $15 increase. Chocolate Townhomes would be $165, which is a $25 increase. Heights Park Homes is $197, which is a $23 increase. Marina Village is $177 and a $22 increase. Imagination Collection, $199 with an $18.56 increase. The island actually went down a little bit by $8 and $112. The snow pushing BSA is $15. The Lake Village BSA is $10. There was no change there. Water Garden, $185 with a $23.50 increase. Access at North Station, $194 and an $11.50 increase. The Urban Townhomes, $182, $13 increase. The Parkside Townhomes, $174 with a $14 increase. And then the Destination Paired Homes is unchanged at $87.50. So I will motion that we approve the BSA adjustments as noted here. Do I have a second?
I'll second as revised today.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So we'll move to the public comment portion here in just a minute, but any questions or comments from the board or from the management team before we move to the next step?
Just a thank you to Josh and the entire team and the board, because we spent a lot of time usually on budgets, but we spent double, triple, quadruple the time to make sure we got the BSA budget amended and corrected and, revised and whichever way we could. And that's a thank you to the board as well as to the CCMC and their team. So thank you again.
Yep, I'll second that.
Me as well.
Okay, so I think we've entered the resident comment portion. Josh, can you just give a quick tutorial to folks on how they're supposed to post comments? Because I know sometimes it's a little different.
Yeah, so this is a little different. We're set up in a webinar, so it'll be more of a Q&A session. So down at the bottom of your screen, you should have an option for Q&A. It looks like 2 conversation bubbles. If you've got a question, just click on that, enter it in, and I will read that off to the board here so they can answer those or address those comments.
Do we have any comments yet?
Nope.
Okay, we'll give it a few minutes. I don't have any Jeopardy music to play, so you can all hum it in your heads while we wait, and we'll give it a few minutes. Josh, if you see one, just let me know. Nope. Okay. All right. Well, seeing no further comments, I will motion that we get one.
You did get one here. Let me pop this open
Okay.
here. Oh, thank you for all you do. It is appreciated. So thank you to them and everyone of the board.
Okay.
It's appreciation post. We'll take
You're
it.
welcome. Yeah. If there's no further comments, then I will motion that we adjourn our meeting. I've got 6:19 p.m. Do I have a second on the motion to adjourn?
I will second that motion to adjourn.
All right, thank you. Meeting adjourned, and thank you all. Oh, hey, Cindy, would you maybe just give us a quick note on the annual meeting, just when it is and time and where and all that?
Yeah, thank you. I'm so excited. So our annual meeting is November 13th, so next week. And it starts at 6:30, correct, Josh, for homeowners? And this is really going to be more of a fun open house meeting. Unlike, it's going to be here at the Daybreak Community Center in the gym. We're going to have a DJ and some food and a sports theme, obviously the ballpark kind of, to celebrate our 20th anniversary of being a community. So for those of you who don't know, our governing documents were recorded in April of 2004. So I'm happy to say I'm only 20 years old, or at least the association is only 20 years old. And we're very excited to celebrate. So this year's annual meeting is really just going to be fun. We do have a little bit of business that we have to conduct, so we'll be up on the stage and interrupt the fun a couple, times just to deal with the business. We'll find out who our newly elected homeowner board member is going to be. And then we'll, have, like I said, a couple other little updates, but otherwise it's open house style. No one just talking at you all the time. And hopefully everybody can come, pop in for a little while and enjoy and celebrate with us. So anything
Great.
I missed, Josh, that we should share?
Oh, I think you got it. We do prefer registrations. We just kind of keep tabs of who's coming. There is a registration link on the website. It's also social media. It's also in the newsletter last night that went out. So
Great. Thank you both. All right.
Thanks,
With
everybody.
that, we'll adjourn and be finished for the evening. So thank you, everybody, for attending. And again, thank you to the board and to our committee members for all their hard work. We'll see you later.
Thank you.